What's up, dudes? Hairy Heathen here, and I'm back with this week's book review. This week, I'm reviewing The Desert Spear by Peter V. Brett. This is the second book in the Demon Cycle series that Peter V. Brett has been writing. Has been writing, still is writing, I hope. For those of you who have not read the first book in the Demon Cycle, which is called The Painted Man or The Warded Man, depending on where you're from, I reviewed it last week. I shall leave a link for you guys if you want to see what it's about. I'll try and do a pop-up, so here's a little pop-up for it. Ba-ding! So click this little thing here and you can see last week's review. If that didn't work because I didn't do it, then just click the link below. So, book review. Now, it seems like the age of the Deliverer is upon us. But, in this book, big question, who is the Deliverer? Is it Aman Jardir, long descendant from the original Deliverer, who has waged war against demons his whole life, and now has come across the Crassian desert with a great army, laying siege to all, but gathering people and uniting people and forcing people in the great demon wars, which he calls Algai Sharak, nightly war against demons. Is he the Deliverer? Is he going to shape people to fight with demons, to finally get rid of this age? Has the age of the Deliverer come again? Or is the Deliverer the Painted Man, Arlen Bales, who found the long lost battle wards, who took the wards across the Crassian desert to the Crassian fort and defeated demons in front of them all, offered to give them the same wards so they could all defeat the corelings, offered it to his friend Aman Jardir, who betrayed him and left him for dead and took the spear and called himself the Deliverer. So the big question, who is the Deliverer? I thoroughly enjoyed this book, same as the first book. I'm not going to rate it as highly as the first book. I'll tell you why, and I might contradict myself here. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. I'll tell you here and now. The first part of the book, 186 pages. So 186 pages, which is, I think it's about 11 chapters. Yes, 11 chapters of this book, beginning, is all about Aman Jardir. It's about his life, his upbringing before he met Arlen Bales. And it's a bit strange. I really, this is where I contradict myself. I really enjoyed the backstory. Knowing more about a person helps you understand a person. But I felt like it was disconnected from the book and the storyline. I wanted the story to carry on from the first book straight into this book. But I did enjoy the backstory, but I didn't want to be reading it as a carry-on. I feel like it could have stood alone, like its own little novel, as a sequel novel. It would have been really good. I really would have enjoyed it. But that said, the book itself, I absolutely loved it. Carried on from where the first one left off, with obviously adding some bits of background stories from some of the major characters, and also introduce a new class of demon. At the very beginning of the book, you have a little prologue about mind demons. Now this is interesting. So it opens up the world a bit more, lets you know a bit more of characters, and I really enjoyed it, especially the ending. I really like the ending, and I cannot wait to get onto the third book, which I have not previously read. This book I previously have read. The third book I'm really looking forward to get onto, and that will be my next book review I'm going to do. It carries on in Cutter's Hollow, or as it's now called, Deliverer's Hollow. Now, I won't tell you the whole storyline and give anything away. If you want to read it, read it yourself. For those who read the first book, let me just tell you, it carries on in the same vein as the first book. Peter V. Brett has got a really good writing style. He has a way of making you fall in love with a character and want to know what's happening to this character, your favourite characters, and why and how. It's really good the way he writes. I really like it. I've only marked this book down slightly because because it felt a little bit disconnected. The whole beginning part about Jardir and the rest of it just felt slightly disconnected to me, it did. But I really enjoyed every single part that I read, so it's very contradictory what I'm saying. I did enjoy this book, I'd say as much as the first one, if not more. It just felt a little bit disconnected, the writing style, so that's why I'm going to mark it down slightly. But it kept me hooked the whole way through, and the ending was absolutely amazing, which has made me really want to read the next one. So I'm looking forward to the next one. But this has been my book review, so I'm going to stick with it 8 out of 10. Give it 8 out of 10. It's definitely a very good fantasy sci-fi. It's definitely a very good fantasy and among one of my favourites. I would say it's definitely in my top 10 favourite fantasies. Close to being in top 5. I have to figure out. But I really enjoyed this book and look forward to the next one. That's been this week's book review. Next week I will be reviewing Peter V. Brett again, because I'm going to carry on with this series, the Demon Cycle series. I will be reviewing the third book in the Demon Cycle series, which is called The Daylight War, released in 2013. After that book, there's only one more book left in the Demon Cycle that's currently released. I believe there is another one due to be released this year, new book. So possibly carrying on with Peter V. Brett series until it's finished. But whilst I'm reading it anyway, guys, how about leave me some examples of some good fantasy books that you guys have read along the lines of Peter V. Brett, anything like that. Leave me some ideas of what book I should read next, what I should be reading and reviewing. Let me know what you thought about my review as well. And guys, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Don't forget, enjoy my review, click the like button, and feel free to leave me any comments. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, what you thought about this book. But till next week, guys, take care.